This is Amiga of Rochester, and today on the bench we have, believe it or not, my own personal Macintosh Classic 2. I acquired this while I was at VCF East, and let's take a look. And I'm doing this kind of solo, so ignore all the, there we go. So, what do we have? So, it's a Classic 2 with 2 megabytes of RAM. The battery has been removed. It says hard drive blue caps. Interesting. Checkerboard video pattern. No post. We'll need a recap. Possibly more needed. Okay. Oh, this was tagged quite a long time ago, actually. Oh, which kind of concerns me. I didn't realize this was tagged almost, was that, 3 years ago? Alright. I'm going to go ahead and open it, and actually, let's go ahead and power it on. Let's take a look at what it actually does. Because I have not actually myself done this, so. Okay, definitely no beep. No video at all. Should have gotten, I don't even feel static. So that's interesting. Fan is on. So, all right, give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and open this. Okay, it is now open. So, screws and everything that I expect to be there are there. It's a revision 2 board. I can tell by this yoke. Or revision 2 analog board. Let's go ahead and re-plug it in. See if there's anything weird. Trying to see if we have neck glow. We certainly have bad smelling capacitors. I could smell that from a mile away, but I do not see any neck glow. And we could actually, if I can find my high voltage probe, which I'm not sure where it is at the moment, we could actually have looked and seen if there was any high voltage, but I'm pretty sure there's not. More than likely, all the caps that are responsible for that are definitely bad. Probably could have checked. We obviously have 12 volts because the fan is working, so it's kind of interesting that we have some activity. That tells me more than likely the board might be the fault, not the. Okay, actually, this is interesting. It's a early revision board because it's got four ROMs. So let's take a look at the board together. See if there's anything on here that I should be concerned about. Let me take out the RAM. So far, no. There's nothing I feel like I need to be concerned about. But I haven't taken a close look at it yet. I'll give you guys a few tips as to what to look for when you look at one of these two. Because I never see that in videos. So, alright, there's a little bit of dust you can see there. I'm just going to blow that off. But as you can see, the pins and everything are very good. The caps haven't destroyed all over. You can see the chips at the top. They're all looking good. So, here's what I'm going to do. I actually have my own personal. I have multiple Macintoshes, but in here is my personal Macintosh Classic 2. I'm going to go ahead and shove that in there. And again, I apologize for the raw videography. I don't do this enough to have a setup. I am not Mr. Bruce Rain. Guy definitely has a better setup than I. I did see something on this I'm going to go over in a second, but let's see what happens. Okay, so what is that? So ignore the fact there's no sound. This board actually is missing its voltage regulator, but we should actually have something. We don't. Let me turn up the flyback. believe it's this one down here. I always forget. No, let's try the top one. It could be this analog board is not producing an image, which I think is the case. So, okay, yeah, this board is not producing an image at all. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this one aside and go and grab my other Classic 2, which is right there. So give me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and grab that, put that on the bench, and we'll see what this board does with a known good analog board. So this is my good known board. So okay, yeah, I get nothing out of this either. Interestingly. So something is very wrong with this analog board, or this main logic board. If we're not even now getting, now it's likely the caps, yes, but I have my suspicions. So let's take this board out, take a look at it. Let's see anything. So more than likely our problem is actually this. That is going to be a major issue because that chip is responsible for quite a few things. Let's look at the back of the board. And nothing. So we know we have a bad analog board and we have a non-functional, yeah, because I'm not even hearing it. I'm worried about that. Give me a second. I'm going to grab a toothbrush and let's see. Hopefully, because that would actually kill the value of trying to fix this, because that chip alone. So let's see, can I turn on a light? No, I can't. All right, don't really let me put you down for 2 seconds. I'll be right back. All right. So I went ahead and I cleaned up the eGrid chip, as it's called on here, which handles reset and a few other functions. Cleaned up pretty well. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm going to try one more time outside the system. Okay. Okay, and you can see, you can see that orange, that's the neck glow. But I do not see anything out of the tube. I'm just seeing if I can even get some form. Oh, actually, there we go. Oh, weird. I must have had, I don't know why it was so low. All right, yeah, so there we go. So that we repeat the issue. So I can tell you right now, this is probably going to be the reset cap or something like that. Interestingly, pressing the reset button has no effect. Interesting. All right, let's try this. So I got you guys on like a little camera. I might have to be careful not to knock it. So what I want to do is check and make sure, because I have seen this before, that the reset button is not stuck in. So touching the 2 points, and we get no beep. You hear that noise? We don't get that when we touch cross. So that even if the button didn't work, it's not, at least not shorting the contacts. So we know then that at the least the board does at least power on. We've confirmed original, speculations. Now, what's next? Well, there's nothing to say these ROMs are good, honestly. So there's nothing to say that the ROMs are. I'm going to just go ahead and reseat them. Okay, still doesn't work, which we kind of already suspected. Different pattern. And we don't need the RAM because the RAM has no impact on that. Now, what's next? Well, so yeah, by the way, I said I cleaned up that, let's see, can I pinch in? Nah, I can't. But I did clean up that, which came out nice. Now, bear in mind this board absolutely needs to go into an ultrasonic ink machine, which I have behind me. So, yeah. So we have two faults. The analog board clearly does not work at all. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. That could just be caps. Really hard to say without taking the analog board out and starting to look at the caps. So we're going to go ahead and remove these caps. And no, I don't bother, at least on my own board here, with caps on tape. Stuff's expensive. And I don't need the heat long enough that I risk damaging anything. You'll see. Show you that there will be no. So, one thing you could do is if you have expensive tools like me, you can throw flux on there. So let's go ahead and throw some flux on there. That'll help a little bit. Stuff's kind of expensive at $16 a bottle. I really should set up my my fume extractor, but I'm not. I just want to try and get these caps off while I got you here. So we're just going to start heating the board. I'm sitting far back away that the fumes will just kind of go away from me anyway. So what I'm doing is I am more or less preheating the board. Kind of heating everything up. And then now we're going to go in and 1, 2, we're going to circle around. 1, can we're kind of still preheating. 1, 2. Now these will burst in your face if you are not careful. And we're done. And no damage to anything. So keep going. Again, we've already kind of preheated the board, so we don't thermally shock it. However, you do got to still be careful. Like depending on the age of the board, you'll sometimes run into cases where you'll thermally shock a chip and it's going to need reflowing. So if you ever find it after using hot air, that cap kind of smoked a bit after I took it off. But yeah, there you go, done. Anyway, so we got a few more caps. One in a more touchy area where I would definitely recommend preheating to actually these two. But yeah. One thing to keep in mind is when you heat, you are heating the bottom, so you could cause some thermal expansion. But anyway, if that happens, more than likely it needed refilling anyway. Good way to look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this for my convenience. Now, normally I will actually remove the egret chip as well. And I'm sure there's plenty of people like, oh, he's going to burn the expansion slot. Yeah, about that. Again, it takes more or less direct heat. I'm also using, oh, look at that. I got that cap off. Think I damaged anything? Let's find out. And I'm putting myself out there for the whole world to see. No, see? Zero damage. Why? Because the heat's not on there long enough. And also, I'm using a very narrow tip. This is, I think, the narrowest tip I have. So the airflow is very direct. Really not an opportunity to damage anything. Now, if I sat there and I focused the heat, yeah, I probably would. But I'm not, so I won't. If this was a customer's board, I'd pull out the Kapton tape, do all that mess. But for my own board, I'll take the risk. There we go. Okay, so This is where using some you want to preheat as much as you can this one because it's kind of tucked away. Really, it's kind of blurry. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can refocus. That's a little better. So I'm just kind of preheating. I got my tweezers in there, and I'm just going to go in. There we go. It's off. Do you think I damaged anything? Well, if you've been paying attention, you'll know the answer is no. One more cap. We're almost there, guys. Normally you don't do this on camera, but this is my own personal board. Wanted to finally put out some videos. And please, guys, if you've never worked with hot air, I'd rather you, almost rather you twist off caps than use hot air. You've never used it before. And at this point, I won't. There we go. Boom. We're done. The board is prepped. And guess what? Again, for the whole world to see. Did he damage anything? No, because I know how to use my hot air. I'm not an amateur. This is something I do, for a living, professionally. All right. I'm actually going to heat up the Hacko. You're going to go, why is he heating up a desoldering gun for a surface mount board? Well, you'll see. All right. We're turning on the KSG-ER. I have had this thing for, more years than I can count. Pulling out the Kester solder. I mean, look, I'm a professional, guys. I don't use this KSG-ER, I've used it literally for probably 3 years now. And I've used actually the same tip. Not the one I'm currently using. I had to replace the old one. Got a little damaged. But I used the same tip for like 2 years? Something like, yeah, about 2 years. Let me tell you, the smell of this stuff is just, it's like eating out at a bad version of Red Lobster. If you've never smelled the smell of electrolytic fluid, well, it's awful. Now, keep in mind, I will not actually be recapping this at the moment until I have had a moment to ultrasonic the board. And then, once I am actually doing caps, then I'll do another video. But, yeah. So, we went ahead and we re-tinned everything. Why did I do that, you might ask? Well, by the way, this is how I opened it. Get one of these. They're like $5 on eBay. And they just fit on the end of a standard, issue. I don't know what the bit size is, but standard issue. You could get one from Harbor Freight for a few bucks. Great tip. I'd love to show you my actual. Actually, I can't show you. It's covered up. I was going to show you my actual toolkit, but that's a whole different discussion. All right, well, let's finish this up, guys. Okay, let the gun clear itself out. And you can see these pads are nice and clean now. No braid required. Why? Because thankfully this board didn't leak everywhere. Now this is where you can maybe burn something. I got to be careful here. Oh, the gun's jammed. There we go. Just want to get these cleaned up. Like I said, I got to ultrasonic this board. Probably also going to need to remove this guy here because there's no way really to, yeah, I'm just going to use a solder wick for the rest of this. By the way, I use a very relatively expensive solder wick. This is Super Wick by MG Chemicals. This stuff is not cheap at all. Somewhere in the ballpark of like, I think I paid $16 for it. Something like that. Not cheap. But it is, in my opinion, at least, worth it. So we're just gonna clean up the pads. Boom, 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 and I'm gonna check a few things before I put this thing away. I might actually test it and see what it does now that the caps are off. What do you say? I think we should. All right, let me grab a Q-tip here. Actually, you know what? I have something even better. And you're going to go, oh no, he's using it. You know what? Again, I use acetone. I do use alcohol. I have a thing of it right here next to me. But yeah, there you go. Still, I use it. I have 99 for doing, when I do board cleaning. However, this stuff will take off flux like nobody's business. I swear by it. I've used it. Oh, my buddy George recommended it a long time ago. And you know what? It's the same stuff they use in a lot of professional flux cleaner. Believe it or not. Don't tell anyone. You don't really have to worry about it damaging anything on these boards because most of it's the wrong type of plastic. I think this works on, what is it, ABS or is it PLA? It's one of the two. But it works really well. I swear by it. Yes, you can just use alcohol. It doesn't matter. But I like to use this stuff for cleaning up. It does a great job of cleaning metal too, which is nice. So, I need to hurry up. My camera is going to get mad at me here shortly for, oh, I missed a pad. Gotta clean up another one. Missed it. Well, sorry for crossing over your visual streams. Now, it's funny because as soon as I'm done doing this, I actually have a Amiga 1200 to work on. And no, I won't live stream that. That's a customer's board. I want focus. This I don't care so much about. I bought it as a YouTube project. I don't do YouTube all that much. If this video does well, that could change. Like I said, you need to ultrasonic this. Yes, you could wash it in the sink. Do not wash it in the dishwasher. And if you do, at least for the love of God, do not use the soap they use. Alright, the fuse is kind of, alright. Sorry, I'm just trying to, like I said, finish this up before I wiped away the label. That is the one thing about, somebody's been in here before. Somebody has tried to fix this before. You can see that solder is not me. Who's been in here? There's like a leg or something from somewhere. No big deal. All right, let's see what this does now that we have done the main job of removing the caps. All right, welcome back. You're pointed right at the action. You will not, excuse me, I will not get sound because I'm missing the one UF 50 volt cap. But let's see what happens. I fixed it. It's booting. Not even joking. The reset button does not work though. That I am still noticing. That could be because the button doesn't work. I'll have to, let me short it out with a screwdriver and let's see what happens. Okay, the switch is bad. You can see it reset. Alright, so I shorted out the two contacts and you can see she is working now. Alright, so guys, this was part one of the VCF East Macintosh Classic 2. I leave you with a question mark floppy. That is all for now. I hope you got a glimpse into my process. See what we do here. We save Macintoshes. This project was deemed not important, but got enough of them. But I'm happy to see it actually, come on. I'm not sure what we're going to do with that analog board. That one, I have to take it out, look at it. I'm really not sure. Given we get no neck glow, but we do get 12. We're getting fan, which means we have 12 volts. I'm torn. So I will need to make another video about that. But thank you for watching part one, and I hope you enjoyed.